just yesterday, we were mocking Margaret Atwood's total meltdown on social media about this whole situation where her book has been removed from classrooms and from school libraries in Alberta. Now, this is a good thing. It is too pornographic of a work to be in a school library, and she's fighting that, of course, claiming that the sex scenes aren't sexy. That makes it okay for kids. And so this is what they want to present and put in front of people. They want to try to relabel this a, quote, classic, The Handmaid's Tale. And the reason they're doing that, of course, is to push the rampant feminist agenda on everybody. And you're not allowed to criticize it, even if they put that degeneracy into the books. And so that is the entire intention of the media. This is what they do every single time. And it's really, really sad that they're caving to this woman and her social media reach. Alberta is generally a more conservative area, and they unfortunately, don't have the backbone like a lot of times. And this is why I see it so often. Conservatives fail to actually conserve the culture, and it just gets pushed even further. So now this is going on pause. They've caved. I'll get into all their statements in just a moment. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Join us here as we talk about all things in the fantasy news. This is a woman's weird fantasy. Have you noticed how these women's fantasies always devolve into degeneracy? I'm going to cover more on that tomorrow. It's really creepy stuff that's going on these days, but this is how it's been pushed for a long, long time. They love these degenerate fantasies, and this is something that is not just impacting schools, our culture, etc. Churches are also being impacted by a lot of this feminist messaging that's going on. And I cover this in my new book called Churchianity, #1 bestseller in religious philosophy. Thanks to readers like you, we crushed it again on release day, the next day, and actually yesterday it popped back up again because people are just discovering this book, and I really appreciate it. Now, I'm blacklisted from the mainstream industry. I'm not being pushed like Margaret Atwood. Now, if you don't know how their bestsellers all happen, a lot of people don't even buy those books that are from the mainstream industry. They get put into libraries. That's why this is important to them, because the libraries buy up all these books. And I showed yesterday on the video, if you watch it, exactly how just a one library purchase can propel someone instantly to being a #1 bestseller without anybody reading it. Now, that doesn't happen over here. This is all word of mouth. It's all people like you who just read, and I appreciate you being here. So this is how modern American churches corrupted generations of Christians. Very poignant. Like I said, it hits feminism, and I would urge you to grab this in the description below. It is on Kindle and paperback right now. We're working on the audiobook. Thanks for reading, my friends. Sounds like I need to do one on like how conservatives lost the culture war as well. Maybe that'll be my next nonfiction, because oh my gosh, it just keeps getting worse. But I'll file that away into ideas of more the work that I'm going to put for myself. But yes, Alberta Premier Danielle Smith got involved. Now, this was a local area. This was just an Edmonton school board that removed this. And so now it's escalated to the state level, and they're just putting their foot down. And it's a woman, of course, right? And she reversed the course on removing the sexually explicit books from school libraries after facing intense pressure from Margaret Atwood and her supporters. The province announced on Tuesday it would rewrite its order to allow, quote, classic literature back on shelves while targeting only, quote, pornographic images. Well, if The Handmaid's Tale should not be on that list regardless, and it should be something that's banned. But hey, I know that they're going to capitulate, because this is the entire reason this is even a thing, is Atwood bringing it to public attention and creating the outcry herself. This is a big social media campaign. It shows if you've got enough celebrity, you have the ability to actually impact laws, which is kind of crazy. Parents be damned. They don't care, they don't care what the parents in these places think, right? If Margaret Atwood's way more important. So she made a big passive-aggressive social media campaign, which I talked about yesterday. It was a crazy crash out. If you look at it, you could tell she's unhinged, and I don't know why anybody would listen to an unhinged woman, but this is The Handmaid's Tale. Right, whatever. So it'll be paused for a couple of hours, they say, while the ministerial order is rewritten, and it's been longer than that. The direction will be to take books with pornographic images out of the libraries and leave the classics alone. I think there was some misunderstanding of the order, so it's been made clear. So they're talking about it like, oh, a couple books got on there like this wasn't supposed to be it, and they're clearly in reference to this, which, again, this does have graphic sex in it, and so it is something that is questionable to be put into a school library. And this is what the order actually said. An email to the school boards said, until further notice, please pause all implementation of efforts outlined in Ministerial Order 30/2025, including removing materials containing descriptions of sexual content from school libraries. So that's right. Now even the ones, so because of this, all the sexual stuff actually has to be back in, guys. We got to put that right back in there. It's important. Yes, free speech, right? At this time, I asked that the school authorities also pause the development and distribution of lists of school library materials. Interesting stuff on that level. And again, this is all government ordered. This is all paid for by tax dollars and the like. You will never find my book in one of these sort of things, right? Because, heaven forbid, have a right-wing take on Christianity. They wouldn't allow that, but they want to put this smut in there because, of course, it's all about the grooming children from the left. That's all they do. Smith then doubled down on X, saying, I'm going to be more explicit than usual as to this policy. 1, get graphic pornographic images out of school libraries, which is a good thing. 2, leave classics on the shelves, so we have to define what that means. 3, we all know the difference between items 1 and 2. Let's not play more games in implementing this policy for our kids. They're saying that, but I would not call The Handmaid's Tale a classic. It would not be a number 2 that needs to be left on the shelf. Now, if you're talking Brave New World, which is one of the books that is also on there, I agree with them. Put that one back on there. That makes sense. This one does not, however. This, again, has a problem with just graphic depictions in it, and it's too much for children. And on top of that, it is a nasty, nasty, rampant feminist book that is corrupting the youth's minds on that level as well. We don't really want that around. Now, this came after this list of 200 books slated for removal, and Brave New World and Jaws were on there. And Smith criticized the school board on Friday, saying Edmonton Public Library is clearly doing a little vicious compliance over what the direction is. So this is one public school system and one public school board in one area that is being forced to comply and being forced to, of course, by larger government entities to say what they must put in their school libraries. Absolutely crazy, right? So this distinction between classics and pornographic images ignores the explicit sexual content in The Handmaid's Tale, like I said, which made it a target for removal in the first place. The novel contains descriptions of ritualized rape, including a disturbing scene where the protagonist is forced to lie between another woman's legs while having sex with the woman's husband as part of a bizarre fertility ceremony. So that's in the book. Yeah, but kids need to read that, right? And Atwood went crazy, complained about it. The opposition, of course, says the easy thing to do here would have been to say, sorry, we made a mistake, but that's not what we meant. We're going to fix this and get back to you shortly, but they couldn't even do that. And this is the thing. This is what the opposition leader's saying. It's never enough for the Inquisition. They literally bowed to the pressure. They literally paused it and got rid of it. They're going to put the stupid Handmaid's Tale back on there, even though it shouldn't be back and allowed. And it's not enough. And so when you try to appeal to SJWs, and I always tell people this, even giving them an inch, they always want to take a mile. They always want to go absolutely crazy like this. And this is what they do. They want to create this sort of thing and make it even crazier because they want to push it to the next level every single time. And so what do conservatives do in this sort of situation? Well, they retreat and they go, well, we want to appear to be reasonable, right? And so we're gonna compromise, right? Well, these people don't understand compromise. They just understand winning. And so when you compromise your values, your integrity, your children, they end up pushing further, and then they push further the next time, and that's exactly what happens. So they, of course, Parents for Choice in Education. I love how they frame this stuff. We're pro-choice, right? Now, it sounds so reasonable, doesn't it? It criticized public schools, calling it a stunt. And says it's like when a kid twists an adult's instructions, the adult doesn't back down, they restate them more clearly. This is about protecting children, and if boards won't do it, the government may have to get a bit more involved. Interesting on that level. So the co-chair of Canadian School Libraries says that it is too broad, but the librarians always love to push this kind of stuff, and that's what we have here. So this is it. Margaret Atwood complained on social media. She acted like a complete baby. Went unhinged because one public school area in Edmonton did not want to have graphic sex in their school libraries. And guess what? She got an entire province in Canada to move. Crazy. Leave a comment down below with what you think about this. We are in a dystopia, but a feminist dystopia. Hit the like and subscribe button, and please check out my book, Churchianity. You will not find this on any school libraries, of course, because it's too poignant and too topical for today. Got some great reviews. Got some good comments yesterday on their video, too. So thank you for reading. It's in the description below, along with my other links. Stay in touch, guys, and of course, check out the books. Most of my stuff's science fiction and fantasy. This is my first nonfiction book, and I appreciate you guys making this a huge success. We'll be back.